Hello, I'm Mrs. Summers. I teach first grade at Blythe Bower Elementary School.
There are no materials necessary for this lesson. I can ask and answer questions about key details in a story or text. As kindergartners, you read simple texts and learned how to identify the main topic in a nonfiction text. In fiction stories, you learned how to identify the characters, the setting, and how to retell the main events in a story. Now in first grade, you will build on those skills as you read more complex text and become more independent readers and thinkers. Hello, Ruby. You will learn how to look closely at pictures and words. You will learn how to ask questions about key details in the pictures and text words. You will learn how to answer questions about key details in pictures and text or words. You will understand why asking and answering questions about key details is so important. Why do we need to ask and answer questions? Asking and answering questions help you notice key details in the text. This means you will be able to comprehend or understand the story or text better. What are key details? A key detail can be found in the words. These words provide an important piece of information in a story or informational text. A key detail can be found in the pictures, too. These details help you understand or comprehend the story or information better. Key. Now, I know when I said key details, you were thinking, I know what keys are. Keys go in the car, or in a door, or in a lock. But in this way, we're talking about it's important, it's needed, it's necessary. You have to have this part of the information because the detail is a small piece of information found within the text or the picture. Our strategy for finding key details: you can look for clues in the picture, ask questions about the picture, answer questions about the picture. You can ask a question to find the key details in a picture, such as, what do I see? Then look even closer for more details. Answer your question, then look for even more details and questions until you've gained a better understanding about the picture. We're going to start with nonfiction text. Watch me and listen carefully to see how I do the skill. Remember, you can pause or rewind if you need to see or hear something again. Now that you know what key details are and you know some strategies you can use to help you ask and answer questions, you're going to watch me and listen carefully as I ask and answer questions and identify key details in the picture. Let's zoom in on Ruby, the butterfly, and see what we learn about her. Ooh, we zoomed in really close. I noticed one of the beautiful and colorful wings of the butterfly. At first, I looked at it as a whole picture. Then I looked at the zoomed in picture very closely and looked for details. I could use my what, why, and how question words. Remember, sometimes you can just put those words in your mouth. What do I see? I see Ruby. I see her wings, her beautiful, colorful wings. They're orange and they're black. They have some spots and markings. How, I wonder how her wings are made. Yeah, let me go on to the next page. Ooh, look at that. Do you see what happens when you look closely? You gain more knowledge about the key details and information about the picture. You can look closely, right? You already have some schema or knowledge of butterflies. What can you add to what you already know? What do you see? What questions could you ask about this picture? What are the answers? What are you learning? What connections can you make? Okay, for me, I'm learning that I see little tiny scales here, little pieces. I happen to know that those are scales. I can see that they're pieces. Some are one color, and there's some dark ones. I don't know if that's a reflection or if those are actually different colors, but I can zoom in closer and I see, I wonder if each of these scales have any other colors on them or if each one is its own color. I wonder why there are these little pieces of scales anyway, why it's not just a solid piece. Wow, I'm noticing, like I said, this is kind of interesting how the scales are put together. And I'm wondering if it is something to do with protecting it or if it's just for the beauty or maybe both. Hmm. Curiouser and curiouser. I kind of feel like Alice in Wonderland. Now we're going to try to find some key details in a text. We're going to look for clue words in the text. We're going to ask questions about the text and answer questions about the text. Here are some question words you can ask to find the key details in a story. What? How? Why? A butterfly's wings are like a stained glass window. There's the stained glass Notre Dame Cathedral. They are covered in tiny scales that are put together in a beautiful design. Every single tiny scale has its own color. Own color. That means it's just one color. I was wondering about that. If a butterfly gets its wings stuck on a web, it can free itself by shaking loose, and then only some of the scales remain on the web. Okay, I learned a lot from looking at the pictures and reading the key details in this text. I bet I can answer these questions. What are butterfly wings covered in? They are covered in tiny scales. What other real life thing do the wings look like? They kind of look like this cathedral stained glass window here. They're kind of like a stained glass window. Why do they need to be made with tiny scales? Why do they need to be made? Because if its wings get stuck, it can free itself. Wow, so it is a way that they can defend themselves and escape, right? Yeah. Did you see me? I was able to answer all of those questions. Yeah. I had my own questions. Sometimes you get some questions from other sources, other people. Maybe they're written and you have to look back like I did for the information. Yeah. So the key details work together with the questions. Let's look at a few literature texts. Our strategy for finding key details is, again, looking for clues in the text and asking and answering questions, using those who, where, what, and why questions. Who are the characters? Where are the characters? What's happening in the story? Why did it happen? Here we go. A home of their own. We're going to read this story together. Once upon a time, there were 3 little winged beauties who went out to find their own homes. Their mama sent them off to start their own families. This is reminding me, I'm having a text connection to the 3 little pigs who went off to build their homes. Who are the characters? What are the key details or words you use to find out? Who are the characters? Well, once upon a time there were 3 little winged beauties. 3 little winged beauties. We know what that is. Winged beauties has to be butterflies. So who are the characters? We're right. And it said 3. So yeah, there were 3 of those winged beauties or butterflies. Let's read more of the story. The first little butterfly made her home where the wet breeze sometimes splashed on her wings. The wet breeze sometimes splashed on her wings. I'm thinking, okay, water. So she must live near the water. Where would the character live? I'm thinking the character is near the beach or I'm right. You're right too. I know you were thinking that same thing. Let's read more about our story. A curious child tried to seize her, but the second butterfly distracted the child and they fled from danger and made their way to the third butterfly's house. Wow. Child's trying to seize, that must mean grab her. The second one distracted the child and they fled from danger. Wow, and they went to the third butterfly's house. So what's happening to the butterfly? I'm picturing little kid coming trying to grab the butterflies. Let's see. We're right. They all lived together happily ever after. By answering the who, where, what questions and noticing the key details in the text, you can comprehend and understand the story much better. Yeah, it even helped me make some connections. Like I made connections to other stories. Like it made me think of, I noticed some things that were just like the story in The Three Little Pigs, didn't you? Yeah. All right, we do. Let's practice together a little bit. The Three Butterflies. Let's read this together. Once upon a time, there lived a youngster, that means a child, okay, who decided to go on an adventure. She put on her boots and grabbed her explorer kit. Ah, I know you're thinking Dora Explorer, right? Everybody thinks that. I'm picturing in my mind a little girl has some boots and she grabs some stuff to explore with. That's what I'm thinking. Is that what you're thinking? Yeah. As she was closing the door, she heard someone say, "Don't go past the backyard." I'm thinking there was this little girl. She goes off. She's going out exploring, and I'm already having a text connection to, I think, Goldilocks. Are you doing that? Yeah. Who is the character? The character has to be a little girl that wants to go explore. Yeah, there's some exploring stuff. She has her net ready for exploring. We are so smart. Pat yourself on the back. Yay! Read more of the story together here. Her favorite thing to do was to run around chasing butterflies and catch them in her net. All of a sudden, dun dun dun, right? She spotted 3 of them. Okay, so she likes running around. I'm picturing her running around and she wants to catch butterflies and she sees 3 of them. That's what I'm picturing in my mind. The girl, what did the girl like to do? We said she likes running around catching butterflies. What happened? She saw 3 of them. Let's see. Yes, that's exactly what we were picturing, wasn't it? When you ask and answer questions, you can comprehend the story better. Then you can ask even more questions, right? I wonder if she caught them. We don't know. Now, we're going to let you try some. Remember your strategy for finding key details. It's looking for clue words, asking questions, answering your questions. When you're looking at nonfiction, you're going to be thinking, what's it about and what am I seeing? Asking and answering questions about key details in nonfiction books can help you understand the information. You can learn more. So let's see. We're going to look at this. I know you're going to be practicing it, but let's do this together. Here we go, as far as the reading part. A caterpillar makes a chrysalis. This is the pupa stage. It will stay in there for around 2 weeks. Then the butterfly comes out after the pupa splits open. After that, it hangs onto the pupa and rests for a little bit. I learned a lot of information from the words, and I can see a lot from this picture. Here's the butterfly. It just came out of this pupa. It's hanging around on the pupa, gaining its strength back. Yeah, because it was in there. How long did it say? 2 weeks. And then it just split open, it says. Now let's see if we can answer the questions that we have on the next page, because we really looked closely and thought about what we were reading. What is a pupa? What are you thinking? You're right. We know that the pupa is this part right here. This is the pupa stage. When it was in there, it was in the pupa stage. Good job. We can see it from the picture. It's when it has its chrysalis. We can find that in the words. You guys are excellent at this. When does it come out? What are you thinking? You're right. Around 2 weeks. Comes out around 2 weeks. Good job. How does it come out? Good job! I know that you were saying, it splits open. Yes, it does. You saw that in the text and you saw that in the details of the picture. Wow, you are so good at this. Knowing how to find key details can help you understand the text. Remember, we're learning to look closely at pictures. We're learning to look closely at words. We're asking questions, looking for key details. We're looking for key details and asking questions. These things work together so that you can learn and understand. So, our activity today is you're going to find a book or write your own story. You may use pictures to tell a story too. Send me a picture of 3 questions and the matching answers you created about your text. You may choose to make a video of you reading a text and tell me all the key details and questions and answers that you found on a page or 2. Also, a fun outdoor activity. Find something outside. It could be the sky, grass, a flower, leaf, or a tree. Look closely for details about it. Write or draw or record a video about the details. What questions and answers can you think of about the object? You did it! Now you know how to use key details to ask and answer questions. You will build on this skill as you learn how to retell stories using more details, also learn how to determine the central message. You're becoming an independent reader.